Alrighty, y'all. Porsche is not one of the brands or cars I would have thought of when I first started getting into rally. It's not something I ever associated with rally, but boy, have I learned that they do have quite an interesting presence and history in the sport. We're going to take a look at some Porsche rally clips, give them some love today. Some great onboards, some great sounds, and overall just tons of fun. These will be linked down below. Make sure to check these clips and their channels out. Let's go. All right, starting out with some footage, some old footage of a 911 Carrera. Damn. You know, it's crazy because I feel like Porsches, they're timeless, and they look good in any configuration. Rally, race, street, any color, right? Any livery. They just kind of wear it all well. Like, this thing looks awesome. Whoa, that was impressive that he didn't wipe out there. Ooh, right by the people. You know, these, not gonna lie, I always think of Porsches as really athletic, but honestly, these look like they'd be a little bit of a handful on the rally circuit. Like, damn. Damn, they look so good in motion now. Wow. That thing sounds awesome. Whoa, look at that. Oh my God, that is awesome. So smooth. Here we go, there's some more. Damn. Whoa, that's a loud one. Damn, they look so good. Look at that old one. Oof. Look at the flames. Holy crap. Look at that. That is insane. Jeez. Look at the inside. I feel like they're so, like, straightforward, too. Jeez. Wow. You know what's kind of interesting? They all sound different, but yet they all sound similar. Like, of course they would sound similar, right, if they're using similar engines, but they all sound different. You know what's interesting about it? It's got to be because of the flat engine design, right? Boxer engines. They don't sound really muscular, like, obviously, like a V8, you know, like American cars or NASCAR. They don't sound like, you know, tuner cars, right? Like, you know, a lot of Japanese cars and 4 cylinders and other 6 cylinders, like Nissan Skylines, like R35s or, you know, V6 sports cars you could think of. Of course, a V6 is different than a flat 6. And they don't sound like Ferraris, you know, they don't sound like Lambos. Like, they really are unique. They really are unique. And, of course, Subaru uses flat engines as well, flat 4s. Their boxer engine, but obviously that sounds different because usually it's 4 cylinders. It is, like, really exotic, even the older cars. Oh, that is an awesome... You know, Golf liveries are always awesome. Even on a Porsche, look at that. Wow. I know they had it on the Porsche 917 I saw a long time ago. That's a freaking awesome car. Whoa, now that one sounded muscular. What on earth? Damn, that one sounds awesome too. Wow, some of these scream. What kind of RPMs are some of these cars turning? I guess that's one thing I never even thought about. These have to be hitting high RPMs, right? I've never driven a Porsche, so, you know, I wish I have, but I haven't. Oh, boy. Whoa! What is going on there? Is that pieces of another car? Ooh, how are these in the wet? You know, you have a rear engine, and I mean rear engine. That thing has a back there. In some cases, it's like, almost looks like it's behind the rear wheels. If not, it's directly over them. It's got to be a unique driving style. In the wet, especially. I feel like it could really just kind of throw you for a loop. A Porsche in a snow environment? That sounds like it'd be hectic. Damn. Whoa. Look at the stance on that thing. Damn, that's an awesome car. Oh, hell yeah. Now that one has a real throaty sound. Possibly the snow might be affecting that too. Damn. Holy crap, that one sounded great. That was one of the best sounding ones so far. All right, now we got to see some onboard footage. This changes the whole game. Look at, oh my God, look at that drop off. Oh my God, man. That is what separates motorsports right there, especially rally from the rest. Never will you see in NASCAR a cliff like that, right? Never will you see so many turns also. How bad would a NASCAR stock car? Look, I think NASCAR is actually awesome still. I've discovered so many more motorsports, and trust me, I'm way more like, oh, I've seen the light, right? Like, I know there's awesome motorsports everywhere. And to be quite frank, like, rally is the best. I freaking love it. I think it's much more intense than NASCAR, for example. But I will say, when you take into account, like, Le Mans, a year or two ago, I think NASCAR did okay, right, with the Garage 54 stuff. I think it's more capable. The cars are more capable than maybe people think. But they're still not, like, the real deal in everything, right? So, like, you put a NASCAR stock car, which I think those cars are awesome, but you put it on a rally course like this, mimic this stage in a NASCAR, it's going to be a freaking nightmare. It's just not happening, right? And that's okay, right? Disciplines, different motorsports are different for a reason. But this is just crazy. And it's funny because when I used to take a rally, I just never thought of Porsches. And that's just based on my ignorance. I didn't know that they had a presence. I wonder if these are one of the better rear-wheel drive, you know, because in rally you have two-wheel drive classes and then, of course, all-wheel drive, right? Obviously, all-wheel drive is going to be superior in so many ways, but for rear-wheel drive, I wonder if this was one of the better, consistently well-performing platforms. I imagine so, although I'm not sure. This is freaking crazy in the car, though. You see how much he's getting thrown around? And look at how tight these are. I just can't comprehend that, right? I don't even see roads like this near me. Look at the people. Look at the drop-offs, the trees, the cliffside. Like, what? And he's in a Porsche. Look at how rigid it is. Oh my God, that's crazy. It also amazes me that they had onboard footage like this from long ago. I think it's so cool. Like, I don't even know how they did that back then. Like, there was no GoPro cameras. There's no action cams, right? No cell phones. It's kind of impressive. Jeez, that is insane. All the movement in the wheel, the constant shifting, right? No paddle shifters, no sequentials here. It's an actual manual transmission. so much room for error. And that thing is screaming. God is glorious. It's such a good sound. Okay, this is later on in the stage. Absolutely beautiful area, of course, right? Beautiful scenery, but daunting at the same time. If you mess up, it's not gonna look so beautiful anymore. Look at this. Whoa! Whoa! Hear the gears too? You can hear the gear whine. Everything about this car is so mechanical. I freaking love it, man. What a thrill this would be to drive, and also what a damn handful this thing would be as well. Holy crap, bravo, man. I'll be honest, I don't know who's driving, but you're badass. They know what they're doing behind the wheel. Okay, so I found the driver of that clip. It is, you gotta pardon me here, I'm not good at other languages. I believe this is obviously French. I think it's Gilles Nantais or something like that. This guy is awesome, right? And it does indeed show him, show a Porsche right here. So he drove Porsches, I think, for a while. That is freaking awesome. If we go to images, yeah, damn, that guy knows how to whip around a Porsche 911 on the rally circuit. It's freaking super cool to see. I like the cars too. He had like this lemon lime kind of color scheme going on. The white, the green and yellow. It's actually really cool. Kind of like that. Okay, we have more onboard footage of an old Porsche. And this one's in the wet. How freaking scary is that? I know. I can't even comprehend that. Jeez. Oh my God, you hear the gearing? Hear the brakes? I just love how mechanical race cars are, man. Whoa, look at that. Look how dark it gets there. Holy smokes, and how narrow the road is. It's like always twisty and narrow. Just absolutely no room for error, man. You know how big NASCAR tracks are, or like, you know, even regular racetracks. And I still think race car driving is impressive, but rallies just different. You're not on a big polished racetrack, right? Like, look at this. You're on regular roads that are small and wet. Look at all that downshifts. That is so freaking cool, dude. Sorry, I had the volume down. Shame on me. That thing gets squirrely quick. My God, what a handful! He can barely give it throttle. This is actually crazy. Oh my God, man. Dude, I'm freaked out watching this. It's so fast in the wet, dude. Oh my God. This is craziness. Oh! Yo, this onboard footage is next level, man. Porsche rallies. What an interesting car. These historic Porsches are just beautiful, man. The way they sound and drive is so cool. Can we appreciate just what a symphony that is? It sounds so good. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. There's something about, for some reason, and this is why I want to drive one someday. I'm pretty sure it probably sounds even better in person, right? When you're actually behind the wheel. I feel like Porsches just sound like this mechanical, like, greatness. Like, you know, you wish like every car could just be built perfect and be, you know, bulletproof, reliable, right? But for some reason, that's not how it is, right? Cars can be reliable, but then cars can be a nightmare too, and they can be clunky and not run right and idle rough and whatever, right? When I hear these Porsches run, instead of, you know, flooring it and feeling like, God, I hope the engine doesn't blow, like you just feel like they sound like they're just made to run. They're made to rev, and the engine sounds mechanically solid. I don't know how to describe it. There's just, when they rev, they make such a smooth, satisfying sound. How scary, man. The speed this thing carries in a wet is freaking astounding. That takes a lot of guts. That driver is brave. Oh, look who it is. We know exactly who that is now that I know the color scheme. Well, this guy's a legend. Shout out to the French here. This guy is a legend. Look at that, on the rev limiter. Oh. Wow, I think we'll end it there, yeah? That was freaking wild. You know, that was bound to happen even in the hands of a legendary driver. I mean, dude, those conditions looked like a nightmare, right? I mean, going fast in a car like that in those wet, twisty roads, every unevenness, every little bump or pothole or, you know, warp in the road, everything comes into play, especially when you're going fast, when you're in a rear-wheel drive, rear-engine Porsche, when it's wet out. It just looks like a handful. And if even in the hands of someone like that, you saw it came up and it got a little light, right? Got a little light on its feet, and then nothing bit down, so it caused the car to just kind of like, whoa, start floating on the road. And sure enough, the curves came up and you couldn't slow down fast enough to take the curve, and that's what happens. That is crazy. That is rally for you. Wow. Although it looks to have held up pretty well in that crash. We're not done yet. A couple more clips because this thing sounds freaking awesome. Look at this. With Popeye on the roof and everything. Look at the whale tail. This is the epitome of a Porsche right here. I will correct my thinking, and I will think of Porsches when I think of rally now because they deserve their spot. Look at the tires on this thing. Look at the awesome wheels. The Carrera stripe at the bottom. This thing is freaking awesome. Damn. Wow. That is loud, and it's proud. It sounds great. Another one. Wow. Yeah, I gotta hear that in person. Damn, dude. Much respect. Any Porsche fans out there? Time to shine. In the comments, let me know. That is freaking sick. Have you seen Porsches in rally in person? Have you attended them or maybe ridden in one? Let me know how that was. And I've been told to look at them before in rally more, and definitely well-deserved. I'm glad I did. This was freaking awesome. What exhilarating onboards those were. That was my favorite part, although that sound of some of those Porsches came damn close. Great sound. I hope you enjoyed this. I appreciate you watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. That's all. My name is Ian. You're watching IWrocker. Until next time, y'all. Catch you later.